Good afternoon, Chaos. This is Head Kalatos, your friendly Legion's leader, here for another review, this time of my longtime guildmate, Ikora. We go way back, even before Chaos. And I was really excited looking at this review, because I think Ikora has a fantastic roster, and kind of hoping that after this review, he manages to do more damage than me in the tank raid. So let's just get right to it. Ikora, I see you have a arena squad of Rex, 5s, Echo, R2-D2, and Darth Nihilus. I would personally not expect him to have an arena rank in the top 50, but it works for you. That is great. But let's look at your inventory, see what you've got, see if we can't make an improvement or two to your arena squad, and see what your possible raid groups are. So, looking at first glance, your roster is pretty impressive. We have a fair number of 7 stars, and by that I mean somewhere in the realm of 60 to 80, but probably even a little bit more than that. And then looking at your ranks of gear 11s, also impressive. There are quite a few here, and I see about 24 or 25, and we can fit almost all of them into established raid groups, so that's really exciting. Once kind of looked at what you've got there, looked for some of the newer, more powerful units, and we see R2-D2, you have him 7-star, gear 11. Also had a gander at your Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's only 5-star, gear 7 right now, so a good start, and one that you could gear in the future to put into your arena team. And I know you've been with Chaos for a while, so I was thinking you probably had a General Kenobi, and you have him 6-star, gear 8, and if you geared him along with your Thrawn to replace 5s and Echo, you could probably hold a top 10 spot with your arena team. So something to look forward to. But you asked specifically about raid groups, and I know you've recently got your clones ready to go, so let's check them out first, since they're ones that I'm most familiar with. And notice you have them all gear 11, 7-star, and they are all fully geared except maybe your 5s needs a couple more pieces. But looking at the gear that you have, or the mods that you have, your Cody is great. Just by looking at the speed at 210, I know you've been working well, and your mods are where they need to be, because speed is really all that matters for Cody. Next, I looked at your big hitter in your clone Sergeant. Notice you have the right sets, and you have 1 crit chance and 1 crit damage set. I would, however, recommend that you change your arrow to a offense arrow instead of speed, since speed doesn't matter for Sergeant. And if you can find a cross with offense as well, that would be great. So you have 3 mods, the cross, the arrow, and the square, all with offense, and then just keep your crit damage in the triangle, and the circle primary stat doesn't matter, off or protection, health, whichever secondaries work better for you is great. I would recommend continuing to farm crit damage and crit chance mods to find high offense secondaries for the clone Sergeant, but other than that, he is good to go. We took a look at Echo. I see a couple of crit chance sets, but you're probably going to want a crit chance and crit damage set on Echo, just like you would on Clone Sergeant. Your arrow is health. I'm not sure which would be better, speed or offense, but you would be better with either one of those instead of a health primary. And your cross on Echo, you want to get a offense primary as well, because he's going to go so often he doesn't need that extra protection. And for secondaries, you want offense, crit chance, and maybe a little bit of speed on him. But primarily focus on that crit chance and offense and secondaries, and get an offense cross and either a speed or offense arrow, preferably offense, I would say. Your 5s looks pretty good, though I'm guessing you have the health because he's in your arena team, but in the raid you don't want health there. You want a crit damage set to go along with the 1 crit chance set. And you have a good cross here with potency. His arrow you'll probably want to have offense as well, because his tactical awareness unique will feed him a lot of turn meter. And his triangle you'll want to get crit damage for the raid. So just a few things that could help out. Now, I'm sure you have them modded for arena, which is the other reason I recommend putting in GK and Thrawn once they get geared, so that you could mod them for raid damage. Now make those mod changes and you'll probably be around the 6 million mark. And just for completion's sake, check out your Princess Leia. See 1 crit chance set. The circle could do with having a crit damage set. I'm guessing you kept it because it has 4% crit chance, 10 speed. So maybe this is a gold mod. You rolled crit chance once, speed once, and tenacity twice. So it's definitely a solid mod, but you truthfully only need her speed to be faster than Cody, because she has a chance with her hair trigger to gain turn meter whenever she attacks. So speed is not as important as long as she goes before Cody to get her crit chance buff out. While I'm looking at Rebels, you have another great Phase 2 team, or possibly even a Phase 4 team under a Wedge and Tilly's lead. So you could go with a Wedge here, and I would mod again crit chance, crit damage. Pair him with his good buddy Biggs with some crit chance and crit damage. To go with them, probably Lando Calrissian, possibly all crit chance, but more likely crit chance and crit damage as well. To go with them, you want the original Han Solo, a lot of crit chance and again crit damage. And to round the team out, a lot of people have used Akbar in the past to give him the cleanse and a little bit of heal. But instead, if you use R2-D2, since you already have combat analysis and number crunch upgraded, he can be in there and they can cleanse themselves all day long. And since he has number crunch, for raids, personally I would pump him up with as much offense and health as I could find, because he's going to then grant that offense and health to your rebels and even make them even stronger. So that group could probably get you at least 2 million, maybe 3 million if you use them in Phase 2. Probably closer to 4 or 5 million if you use them in Phase 5. So very strong team there. I noticed another team that could go around 4 million is a Darth Vader Zeta team, who you have ready to go. I'm not sure if you use them currently, but you have your Darth Vader with the Zeta lead already. You've got plenty of potency mods on him and a potency primary, 30 speed, crit chance or crit damage, fantastic. And your Boba Fett is all ready to go with him. In the raid, he might be better served with a set of crit damage mods. I'm not sure. You probably use him more than I do. If the speed allows him to stack the dots more, that's obviously going to be more beneficial. But he does not need a Zeta lead to be useful. and in fact I find his Zeta lead fairly underwhelming. And it looks like from the stats here you have his potency up pretty high, which is good. Maybe instead of a health set, I would throw a potency set, just to make sure that when he lands those dots they stick. But he's looking good. To go with that group is a Captain Phasma, which you've got, perfect, and modded mostly for speed, which is even better. So nothing to add, you've got a great Phasma. And then to round out the team, we have a Darth Sidious, whom you have Zeta'd, fantastic, with crit chance, potency, and health mods. The health mods, you actually have him over the cap for potency, so you could probably drop the potency set and add another crit chance set. And let's see what else. Oh yes, Tusken Shaman, who we see you've already got gear 11, fantastic, speeded up. Possibly could use a little more potency so that their desert toxins could be there. But that's the only thing I would change there. Yes, from tenacity to potency. But that group's probably good for another 4 million and you're good to go. Another group that you have completely and totally ready to go, worth probably 300,000 to 400,000 right now, is a Palpatine group. So you have your Emperor Palpatine, who I'd recommend modding for crit chance and crit damage, as long as you keep him up around the speed that you've got and potency in this 70% range. Keep him there to roll shock on everybody, while TIE Fighter Pilot is there with a lot of crit chance mods and possibly even crit damage to nuke the boss, while your tank's Royal Guard, Stormtrooper Han, and Sunfac keep that team safe. And all of those tanks are gear 11 as well. Now, to make that group even better, I would focus on farming the Ewok Chief Chirpa. Now, Chief Chirpa doesn't need any more gear, doesn't need to be leveled. All you really need is to have his leader ability maxed out, which it is. So just keep that there. All you need to do is get him 7 stars, replace the TIE Fighter Pilot with Chief Chirpa, and you're looking at a solid 1 million damage with that group. Believe it or not, I found 2 other groups that are totally ready to go right now, and both of these groups come from your Jedi. The first group, which would be under a Qui-Gon Jinn, whose leader ability you already have Zeta'd, would be Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Knight Anakin, Ahsoka Tano, Grand Master Yoda, and Ezra Bridger. Now this group would do better probably in a phase 2, and you would just do your typical kill the turrets, nuke down the tank. Ahsoka Tano, you would want modded 1 crit chance set and 1 crit damage set, getting her speed, offense, and crit chance. Jedi Knight Anakin, you would want to mod straight crit chance so that his reckless assault offers offense up to your allies and he doesn't expose himself. Your Grandmaster Yoda will probably just want speed and a battle meditation Zeta when you get the chance, but he's there strictly to pass foresight around to your group and possibly remove turn meter. And Ezra Bridger would be the final in that group, and he would also probably get 1 crit chance set and 1 crit damage set. I would save his Flourish for when you need to either quickly nuke down a turret or on the tank. And his Watch and Learn is great for letting Ahsoka Tano get even more damage. Because with the Watch and Learn guarantees, if you use it on Ahsoka, will guarantee that she is a crit. And with those crits, she will be the hardest hitter. So whenever this is up, use Watch and Learn to call her for an assist. Now that would be probably 300,000 to 400,000 damage for you. So not a bad round, not a bad group. Another Jedi group you have that could use some more gear is a fun group I've been kind of toying around with, and that is an Imagundi led counter group. Now, Imagundi is great in this raid, and it's probably better to stack him up with a little bit of potency and then crit chance and health secondaries, because his Sunder does a ton of damage to droids and it inflicts defense down. And if you put an Omega on there, it's guaranteed to inflict defense down on a droid. So that's pretty nice. And if you Omega his leader ability, everybody when they counter, they get an additional 25% damage. So it's a pretty powerful leader ability, and you would use it with Ikora, who already has a high counter chance, and you would mod her out with crit chance and potency so that she stuns the droids in phase 3, which is where this group would do better. Along with Imagundi and Ikora, you would put Kanan Jarrus. He would have a guaranteed crit as well, and you would want to stack potency and health for him, as his disarming strike will inflict offense down on anybody that he attacks. And so that would be his primary goal. And you would use Intervene to taunt and absorb damage. And as he takes damage, you would use Total Defense to gain protection up. And you would target whichever ally needs the help, but he could live a long time and protect those people, so that the only damage the rest of your team takes is AoEs from the B2 droid, so that everybody gets that bonus damage on those counterattacks. The fourth Jedi I'd recommend in this group is another guy who has a native crit chance in Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto is good for this group because his AoE Turn the Tide will increase potency for everybody, and by increasing that potency, you can ensure that Imagundi's defense down lasts, Kanan Jarrus offense down lands, and Ikara's stun lands. Now this is a very high health group that will be designed to take damage. So what better person to put in there in the 5th slot than Barriss Offee? Her mods straight offense, and anybody in your team gets crit, she'll gain turn meter, and you could use her Zeta lead here to keep everybody topped off, so that if they do get crit, they're going to gain health. And she also works as this team's Dispeller. So I've used them a couple times. My Barriss is not as high geared as yours, but I can manage 250 damage in phase 3 with that group. So it could definitely help you out a little bit. And so those clones, rebels, 2 Jedi groups, Chirpatine and Zader are 5 teams you have ready to go right now. I'm sorry, 6 teams that you have ready to go right now, though they could use some gear on Imagundi, Kit Fisto, Kanan Jarrus, Raid, Han, and then Zeta on Barriss. So that is where a lot of your near damage is going to come from. Now, 2 teams that you could work on are your droid Jawa set. Now your droids are already geared. You have the HK-47, who could use a little more gear than IG-88 and IG-86. It's a great start to a Phase 2 team. And to round out that team, you need 2 Jawas and the Jawa Engineer and Chief Nebbit. Get them both to 7-star, and this team could be worth around 2 million damage to you in Phase 2. Now, the last group is kind of a longer term project because it requires Jyn Erso, and you need to get her to 7-star, and it works best with Baze Malbus, but you could use K2SO instead. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This next team setup, you would need a Teebo lead, so your Ewok Teebo, and his role in this group is going to be stealth as much as possible and remove the B2's turn meter. The tank in this group, like I said, ideally is Baze Malbus, but you could use a K2SO to tank. Your Jyn Erso, when you get her 7-star, would be there, and her goal is also to remove turn meter from the boss. I have seen it work best with Chirrut, but since you don't have Chirrut, Rex is a good addition to this group. Rex for his cleanse and his turn meter reduction, and all those tanks and support to help one person destroy the B2 battle droid. And that one person is your 7-star Gear 11 Darth Nihilus. Now, Darth Nihilus, you would want to keep dots on everybody as much as possible. Drain Force. Oh, you even have 2 Zetas on him. So whenever the droids go, they will get the health down. And you can Drain Force and then annihilate the boss. So your basics you want to use on other characters, and you're going to want to use your Rex, Jyn Erso, and Teebo to keep the turn meter down on the boss, so you can use Darth Nihilus as Annihilate as often as possible. Now, I've seen that group get around 3 million damage, and all you need to get there is a Jyn Erso to 7-star. So that is a potentially nasty group that you could put together. So to recap, you've got your Princess Zodi team, which could use some mods, and they will be awesome. You've got a Gangster Rebel team in the Wedge Biggs combo, Lando Calrissian, Han Solo, and R2-D2 to buff them and help them. You've got 2 possible Jedi teams, one for Phase 2 and one for Phase 3. A Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn with Grandmaster Yoda, Jedi Anakin, Ahsoka Tano, and Ezra Bridger. And then a counter Jedi team you would use in Phase 3 with Ima Gundy as a lead, Kanan Jarrus, Ayla Secura, Kit Fisto, and then in the future a Zeta Barriss Offee to heal them, keep them topped off, and dispel. You've got a Chirpatine group in the works if you get your Chief Chirpa, with him, Emperor Palpatine, and their favorite tanks, Stormtrooper Han, Sun Fac, and Royal Guard. And then until you get Chief Chirpa, stick with the Emperor Palpatine lead and use your TIE Pilot. Your Empire team under a Darth Vader will be phenomenal with your Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, Tusken Shaman, Captain Phasma, and Boba Fett, all of whom are ready to go. You have a project in your droids and Jawa team, because your Jawas need a little bit of love to get them up to par, ready to go. And then a Darth Nihilus centered Phase 3 team, which uses a Teebo lead, and then T-Bow to reduce turn meter, Jin Urso to reduce turn meter, a tank either in the form of Baze Malbus or K2SO, and then a Rex to dispel so your Darth Nihilus doesn't get ability blocked, and also to remove the boss's turn meter. When all is said and done, with proper mods, you could probably hit between 7 and 10 million damage now, and then get your droids, or your Jawas to help your droids, and then your support cast for Darth Nihilus, in your Chief Chirpa, you could probably add a solid 3 to 4 million on top of that. So Ikora, you've got a great lineup here, a lot of solid teams to use right now, this very moment, and 2 teams you could work on, and when those 2 teams are done, you could probably hit 15 to 20 million damage on the tank if you get all of your damage out when it needs to. So I hope that that little bit of advice can help put you above me on the damage charts, because you have the people for it, and then eventually up into the ranks of our elite with that Phase 3 Nihilus team and your droids and Jawas put together. So Ikora, good luck. Hopefully this could give the rest of you some advice on teams to put together, or maybe some directions to go. But until later, when I might look at your roster, or I just meet you in the raids, good luck, Chaos, and enjoy the August rush to the leaderboards.